This is Shankar sir. Welcome to my channel Natural Biology. In the previous class, we have learned about heterotrophic nutrition, holozoic mode of nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and saprophytic nutrition. And also we have learned about parasitic nutrition in Cuscuta. So in today's class, I am going to explain you about holozoic nutrition in human beings. How nutrition occurs in human beings? Nutrition in human beings occurs by digestive system. Human digestive system is very complex in nature. Different parts are involved to perform different functions by using different digestive juices and also enzymes. Okay, so let us learn how this digestion takes place in human beings. Okay, so in human beings, digestion takes place by a special system that is called digestive system. Now, if we see the structure of the digestive system, it is broadly categorized into two different types. Okay, one is a long tube which is extend from mouth to till the anus. Okay, so that is called alimentary canal. Alimentary canal is a long tube which extend from this mouth to anus. Okay, and this alimentary canal is modified in different regions. Let us see here mouth, thereafter buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. These are parts together called as alimentary canal. Now come to digestive glands. Along with this tube, some of the glands also involves in digestion. So those are called digestive glands. Salivary glands, liver, pancreas, gastric glands and intestinal glands. Okay, so these are the glands, helps in the production of digestive juices. As we know that holozoic nutrition involves in these 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and digestion. First we discuss about the parts of the digestive system and thereby how the digestion takes place. Okay, the physiology of the digestion. Let us start. The first part is known as mouth, and immediately mouth opens into a chamber that is called buccal cavity. Okay, what is the next part? The second one here. Buccal cavity. It is also known as oral cavity. And the next part, immediately the buccal cavity opens into a tube. So this region is called pharynx. Okay, pharynx. Pharynx is a common passage for both air. Okay, air comes here and enter into windpipe. The first tube is the windpipe and the second tube is the esophagus, food pipe. Okay, and now after the pharynx, the next part is esophagus. Okay, after the pharynx, the next tube is called esophagus. Now esophagus runs along with the chest cavity and finally opens into the stomach. So what is the next part? So this is the fifth one called stomach. Stomach is going to open into small intestine. Small intestine then further opens into this tube. This is called large intestine. Last part of the large intestine is called rectum. Final part is called anus. Okay, the last part is called anus. Here we have to remember that small intestine is further divided into 3 regions. The first part of the small intestine is called duodenum. Okay, and the next part, the second region, is called jejunum, and the last part of the small intestine is called ileum. Okay, so these 3 together called as small intestine. Okay, the first part of the small intestine is called duodenum, and the next part is called jejunum. Then it is coiled tube. Then highly coiled tubule is called ileum. These 3 parts make the small intestine. So similarly, in large intestine also we can see the 3 regions. Okay. So similarly we can see the three regions in the large intestine. One is the cecum. So this is the part. This is the part is called cecum, and this is the second part. Okay, this total region is called colon, and the last part is called rectum. And glands associated with digestive tract are salivary gland, liver, pancreas. We know that here in the area of the buccal cavity we can find the salivary glands. There are three pairs of salivary glands are present: the parotid glands, submandibular gland or submaxillary glands, and the last one sublingual glands. Let us see where these three glands are present. Here it is a gland. So this is the region where the parotid gland is present, and it is the largest salivary gland. Okay, parotid gland is the largest salivary gland. Come to second type of gland. Here this is the region mandible. Mandibles are nothing but teeth. These teeth. And maxilla, this is the bone. This bone is called maxilla. So between the mandibles or between the maxilla, okay, these glands are present. So that are called submandibular gland. Okay, or these are also called as submaxillary glands. One more important gland is sublingual gland. This is the region where this sublingual gland is present. It is present below the tongue. So all these three glands pour their digestive juice, that is saliva, okay, into the buccal cavity. Come to liver. Okay, so liver is the largest gland. We know that liver is the largest gland, present immediately below the diaphragm, which is right side. Okay, slightly it is towards the right side, which produce a digestive juice called bile juice. And liver contains sac-like structure is called gallbladder, where the bile juice is temporarily stored. Okay, right. Come to one more gland. It is pancreas. What is the gland? Pancreas. It is present below the stomach at the junction of C-shaped duodenum. So in this corner, pancreas is present. So pancreas produces a digestive juice called pancreatic juice. What is the juice? Pancreatic juice, which contains different types of enzymes. Come to gastric gland. Okay, these gastric glands are small, minute glands which are present in the wall of the stomach. They produce gastric juice. Okay, gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid along with hydrochloric acid, an enzyme present that is called pepsin. What is the enzyme? Pepsin. Come to intestinal gland. So these intestinal glands present in the wall of the small intestine. They also produce a digestive juice called intestinal juice. These intestinal juice contain different types of enzymes. So their digestive juices, their role we will learn in the physiology of digestion, means how the process of digestion occurs. So these are the parts of the digestive system. Now let us see how digestion takes place. Okay, when we see the food, okay, here it is a food particle. How it is takes place? We pick up the food with the help of hand and we put the food into our mouth. Okay, so this process is called ingestion. The process of entry of food into the buccal cavity through the mouth is called ingestion. So this food is going to enter into the buccal cavity through mouth. So this is the first step of holozoic mode of nutrition. Now once the food is entered, what happens? The second step takes place, that is called digestion. What is mean by digestion? The process of breakdown of complex molecules into simple molecules in the presence of enzymes is known as digestion. So when the food is entered into the buccal cavity, what happens? In buccal cavity there are three parts which helps in the digestion: teeth, tongue, salivary glands. These are the parts which are present in the buccal cavity which helps in the digestion. How teeth helps in the digestion? Teeth cut the food, grind the food. Okay, so this process is called mastication. So what is mean by mastication? When food is entered into the buccal cavity, teeth cut the food and grind the food. Okay, nothing but chewing of food is known as mastication. Now during this process, salivary gland release a digestive juice that is called salivary amylase. What is the digestive juice? Salivary amylase. So this tongue helps in the mixing of saliva with the food particles is done by tongue. Finally, it pushes the food into the next part. Now, salivary glands. The digestive juice which is released by salivary glands is known as saliva. This saliva contains an enzyme that is called salivary amylase, which is also known as ptyalin. Along with this, there is one more enzyme that is called lysozyme. These lysozyme kills the bacteria. If any bacteria present in the food, so that were killed by this enzyme called lysozyme. In the presence of the enzyme salivary amylase, ptyalin, here carbohydrates are going to digest. So complex carbohydrates are break down into simple one. So the simple forms are nothing but maltose, sucrose, fructose, galactose. You know that carbohydrates are polysaccharides, contain many number of sugar molecules. Okay, so they are polysaccharides. So these polysaccharides are converted into disaccharides. Okay, so polysaccharides contain many sugar molecules, whereas disaccharides contain only 2 sugar molecules. So complex one is going to break down into simple one in the presence of an enzyme called ptyalin. So this process occurs in the buccal cavity. When the food is mixed with saliva after mastication, it becomes very wet and slippery nature. The slippery food is known as bolus. This bolus which is formed in the buccal cavity is pushed by the tongue into the next part. Here it is called pharynx. Now the food is in the pharynx. In pharynx there is no digestion. Okay, just it is a common passage for food and air. Okay, now the immediately food is enters into the next tube that is called esophagus. Food is enter into the esophagus. The opening of esophagus is guarded by a muscular ring which is called esophageal sphincter. So this esophageal sphincter controls the opening of the food into the esophagus, which allow little amount of food into the esophagus. Now the food is enter into the esophagus. When food is moving into the esophagus, the walls of the esophagus contain 2 types of muscles. Okay, internally they have circular muscles and longitudinally sides they have longitudinal muscles. So because of this contraction and relaxation of circular and longitudinal muscles, the esophagus shows a wave-like movement that is called peristaltic movement. So when the valves are squeezed here, when the esophagus will squeeze, push the food forward. Okay, then food come to here. Okay, again the upper circular muscles behind the bolus will squeeze, then it move forward. Okay, so likewise when the food is moving to the esophagus, it makes a wave-like movement. Okay, so this wave-like movement. These wave-like movement of food through the esophagus is known as peristaltic movement. Okay, so we will learn more about this peristaltic movement in 7th lesson. Okay, coordination in life process. Now the food is reached to the stomach. What happens in the stomach? So here between the esophagus and between the stomach, a sphincter is present that is called cardiac sphincter, because it is very near to the heart, hence it is called a cardiac sphincter. Now the food is entered into the stomach. Okay, the food is entered into the stomach. Then what happens in the stomach? Come to the stomach. What the digestive juice secreted by stomach? Walls of the stomach secrete digestive juice which is called gastric juice. What is the digestive juice? Gastric juice. So this gastric juice contain hydrochloric acid and also an enzyme called pepsin. HCl and again kills the bacteria. If any bacteria further cross the buccal cavity, that get enter into the stomach, so that were killed by this HCl. Okay. Now, what is going on in the stomach? So, stomach gives an acidic medium. So, in the acidic medium of the stomach, proteins are going to break down. Okay. So, proteins are going to break down into peptones. So, proteins are going to break down into peptones. Complex proteins are called as polypeptides. Now, these proteins, polypeptides, are break down into dipeptides or tripeptides. So, that are called peptones. So, what happens in the stomach? In the stomach, gastric juice is released which contain hydrochloric acid and also an enzyme called pepsin. Hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria, whereas pepsin digests the proteins into peptones. Proteins are complex molecules called polypeptides are break down into peptones or simple proteins that are called tripeptides or dipeptides. Now the food is partially digested. Partially digested semi-solid acidic food is known as chyme. Okay, so very important one more questions. Okay, what is mean by bolus, what is mean by mastication, and what is mean by chyme? What is mean by chyme? The partially digested semi-solid acidic food is called as chyme. This chyme is moved from stomach to the next part called the small intestine. What is the first part of the small intestine? Duodenum. But here between the stomach and duodenum also have an opening. That opening is guarded by a sphincter. So this sphincter is called pyloric sphincter. Okay. So there is one more sphincter which is guard the opening of stomach into the duodenum, which is called pyloric sphincter, which allows the food, little amount of food from stomach to small intestine. Now when acidic food is enter into the duodenum, walls of the duodenum release some hormones like secretin and cholecystokinin. These hormones stimulate the liver and pancreas. Thereby the liver and pancreas release their respective digestive juices. The digestive juice which is produced by the liver and which is temporarily stored in the gallbladder, so that is called as bile juice. Okay, bile juice. This bile juice have no enzymes. So enzymes are absent in the bile juice. So then how digestion takes place, sir? So digestion takes place in the presence of some salts which are called bile salts. So these bile salts helps in the digestion of fats. So here fats are break down into fat globules. Okay. So complex fats are break down into simple fats in the presence of bile salts. Okay. Complex fats are called polyglycerides. They break down into tri or diglycerides. Okay. So these are fat globules or triglycerides or diglycerides. So this is happens in the presence of bile juice, okay, which is produced by liver. Now come to pancreas. Pancreatic juice is the digestive juice which is produced by pancreas. It contains three types of enzymes: pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and pancreatic lipase. Now, if any carbohydrates are not broken down into the buccal cavity, that further break down in the presence of pancreatic amylase. It is again going to break down the carbohydrates into say maltose or dextrose or sugars. Okay, so polysaccharides again break down into disaccharides. Now trypsin, it is going to break the proteins which are not digested in the stomach into the small intestine in the presence of an enzyme called trypsin. Okay, so this trypsin is going to break down the proteins into peptones. Okay, so similarly pancreatic lipase, okay, it breaks down the fat into acid side glycerols. Okay, so this is the digestion takes place in the presence of pancreatic juice. Now the food is reached to the next part of the small intestine, that is called jejunum. So walls of the small intestine also secrete a juice called intestinal juice. So it is released by small intestine. Till now we have learned that all the complex molecules are broken down into simple molecules. Complex carbohydrates, polysaccharides are broken down into disaccharides. Polypeptides broken down into dipeptides or tripeptides. Polyglycerides are broken down into di or triglycerides. Okay. So let us see how the intestinal juice involves in further digestion. The walls of small intestine, these walls of the small intestine also produce a digestive juice which is called intestinal juice. So different enzymes present in the intestinal juice such as sucrase, peptidases, lipases. So different enzymes are present. So let us see how digestion takes place. Already till now we have learned that disaccharides, dipeptides, tripeptides, diglyceride, triglycerides are found. Now these di are going to break down into mono, means disaccharides are break down into monosaccharides, dipeptides or tripeptides further break down into monopeptides, and diglycerides, triglycerides further break down into monoglycerides. A disaccharide sucrose is going to break down into a monosaccharide, that is called glucose. Okay, in the presence of an enzyme called sucrase. So similarly, maltose in the presence of maltase break down into glucose. Okay, right. And peptidases, for example, tripeptidase convert the tripeptides into dipeptides, and dipeptidase convert the dipeptides into monopeptides. So simply peptones, either tripeptides or dipeptides, finally break down into amino acids. So these are the monopeptides. Come to fats. Fats in the presence of intestinal lipase are further break down into fatty acids and glycerols. So these three compounds, okay, glucose, amino acids and fatty acids and glycerols, so these are the final products of the digestion. So carbohydrates which we eat finally convert into glucose, and proteins which we eat finally converts into amino acids, and fats which we take finally convert into fatty acids and glycerols. Where these all the compounds are present, these simple molecules are present in the last part of ileum. So they reach to the last part of the ileum. Let us see what happens in the ileum. Now I am taking a small portion of the small intestine. So this is the one tubule of the small intestine. Okay, so this is the small portion of the small intestine. Now we know that here glucose, amino acid, fatty acid, these particles are present in the small intestine. So intestine is specially modified. There are many finger-like projections in the intestine to absorb these simple molecules. So these finger-like projections, okay, are called villi. On both sides, these are present. Okay, so let me draw a single projection. Okay, so this is called villi. So small intestine contain villi. The outermost villi is made up of a single line of epithelial cells. Especially, so these type of epithelial cells, this is the cell which gives a brush border. So these called the projections of brush border epithelium is called microvilli. Okay, even this is a single cell. Okay, one single cell I am drawing here. One single cell I am drawing here. So this is the epithelial cells, which also shows many finger-like projections. Okay. So these small projections are called microvilli. So these food particles are get absorbed. So here these are the glucose amino acids are present. So these are getting absorbed into the blood capillaries. Okay. So the simple food molecules like glucose, amino acids are get enter into the blood capillaries which are present in the villi. Till now we have completed the second event of holozoic nutrition, that is digestion. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats are digested into simple molecules. So this is the second step of the holozoic mode of nutrition. Now the third step is called absorption. What is meant by absorption? The simple molecules from small intestine move into the blood circulatory system. Okay, here along the wall of the intestine also contain some blood vessels. Okay, there are many blood vessels. So from intestine, food is going to move into the blood circulatory system. Okay, so such movement of food from small intestine to the blood circulatory system is known as absorption. The absorption is done by villi. Now once the food is entered into the circulation with the help of heart pump the blood to all the body parts. So likewise each and every cell of our body receives this glucose, amino acid, fatty acid. Here one point we have to remember, glucose, amino acids are enter into the blood capillaries, and especially fats are enter into a special capillaries that are lymph capillaries. So fat are going to absorb into lymph capillaries. So finally each and every cell receives all these materials, glucose, amino acid, fatty acids and glycerols. Now this process absorption is completed. When the glucose is reached to the cell, okay, so cell use this glucose and oxygen, water, it produce energy. That process is called assimilation. Okay, even fourth event of the holozoic mode of nutrition is completed. Come to the last event, the undigested food particles from small intestine move into the large intestine. Here the ileum opens into the first part of the large intestine, that is called cecum. Cecum have a small finger-like projection that is called appendix, and appendix have no role in human digestion. Okay, so it is a vestigial organ. Now food from cecum. Cecum hosts for many bacteria, okay, which helps in the digestion. Now the cecum is opens into the next part, that is called colon. So cecum is opens into the next part is called colon. So this is the region of the colon. So in colon or in large intestine there is no digestion, because 100% digestion completed in small intestine only. Okay, so there is no further digestion in the large intestine. The only thing, absorption of water and some minerals takes place in the large intestine. Now the food is go to the next part, that is called rectum. So here the undigested particles are get stored. When the water absorption, mineral absorption takes place, the food become very hard. So that hard undigested food which is present in the rectum is known as feces or fecal matter. It is also known as stool. So now this is going to comes out from the body by the way of anus. So that process is called defecation or egestion. So this is the last event of the holozoic mode of nutrition. So we have completed the ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. So thereby human digestive system. How the digestive system, alimentary canal is modified into different parts in different regions, and they have specific functions also. Okay, so this is about the human digestive system. Thank you for watching this video, and do subscribe my channel and like, comment, share and write your views in the comments. Thank you once again.